Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida told Western nations that East Asia could become the next Ukraine, given a rise in China's aggression against Taiwan and North Korea's military activity. At the start of Japan's year-long G7 presidency, Kishida visited leaders of all members of the elite club except Germany, where he plans to go soon. Closing his trip in Washington, Kishida said he shared with G7 leaders his strong sense of crisis regarding the security environment in East Asia. Ukraine may be the East Asia of tomorrow, Kishida told a news conference a day after meeting U.S. President Joe Biden, calling security concerns in Europe and East Asia inseparable. He said that, quote-unquote, the situation around Japan is becoming increasingly severe, with attempts to unilaterally change the status quo by force in the East China Sea and South China Sea and the activation of North Korea's nuclear and missile activities. Kishida was referring to China's growing assertiveness in the two areas, where Beijing has a slew of island disputes, including with Japan and the Philippines and Vietnam. China in August also fired missiles into Japan's exclusive economic zone when it conducted major military exercises around Taiwan. Kishida traveled to Washington after his administration announced that Japan would double its defense spending over the 5 years. Kishida traveled to Washington after his administration announced that Japan would double its defense spending over the next 5 years, as he changed for a country that has been officially a pacifist since its defeat in World War II. Kishida said he would work to explain thoroughly to the public the need to use tax money to ramp up defense spending to 2% of GDP, a goal separately set by NATO that more countries are accepting since Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Among other steps taken under a new defense strategy, Japan would develop counter-strike capacity to hit threatening launch sites and hopes to buy hundreds of Tomahawk cruise missiles, now only in the arsenals of the US and the UK. According to Kishida, he spoke with the British and Italian prime ministers about moving a three-way development of a next-generation fighter jet that uses artificial intelligence. He also said Japan has not yet decided whether to join the US on one measure that has especially irritated China, cutting it off from imports of semiconductors critical for advanced technology. Japan is proud to be the only Asian member of the G7, and Kishida administration's response on Ukraine effectively internationalized Western-led opposition to Russia's invasion. Kishida believed that Japan still sees itself as a peace-loving nation and would use the G7 to push for the eventual abolition of nuclear weapons. The leaders of the G7, Britain, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, and the US are to hold a summit in May in Hiroshima, Japan, the site of the world's first nuclear attack and Kishida's parliamentary constituency. I am Lovely Montoya of Manila STV.